out there, planet Earth, and happy Friday. Great to be back on the airwaves after a busy couple weeks between work and kids' spring break and all that jazz. It's Friday, and it's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant for SMBs, a voice and a sounding board for business leaders, helping to advocate on their behalf, their employees as well. Folks, I believe very strongly in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. So every single Friday, you can find me right here on talkradio.nyc doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show, where I interview SMB leaders as well as the folks who steer them in the right direction, their trusted advisors. One consistent thing that I've seen over the years is that some of the best thought leadership for business, it actually happens on Friday, right about the time we feel the freedom of the weekend coming. However, we're also anxious to start the weekend. I know I am this weekend. There's a lot going on. These crucial pearls of wisdom, they're often overlooked, they're forgotten, they're eased aside in favor of our fun activities and our freedom from the office. Here on the show, we take advantage of that weekend freedom and clarity, and we like to discuss popular topics that are on the minds of our business leaders. Once again, the name of the show, not just a play on words. My last name means free in German. There is method behind the madness here. Again, I can't tell you how excited I am for the weekend. The Marlboro Softball League's opening day is on Sunday. Softball season's back. Baseball's back. I have Sunday games to look forward to with 233 of my brethren that make up the league. It's got to be one of my favorite activities I've come across since moving back to suburbia. Little known facts for some of you out there, Sunday is also AML World Awareness Day. And no, I'm not talking about anti-money laundering. I'm talking about acute myeloid leukemia. So acute myeloid leukemia, people all over the world on Sunday, they're going to unite to help raise awareness and some money here and there for this rare cancer of the blood and bone marrow. When I think of awareness around blood cancers and raising money to fund research for the cause, I think of a particular buddy of mine from the softball league, actually. That's how we met, because he's actively involved with volunteering, organizing events, and fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So today, I thought we would chat about the idea of signing up to save lives, and we definitely have the perfect guest for that today. So real quick, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, also known as LLS, is a global leader in the fight against blood cancer. The LLS mission is to cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin disease, and myeloma, and improve the quality of life for patients and their families who suffer. LLS funds life-saving blood cancer research all around the world, provides free information and support services, and is the voice for all blood cancer patients seeking access to quality, affordable, coordinated care. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is a 501c3 organization. Monetary donations may be tax deductible to the fullest extent allowed by laws. I'm not an accountant. Although I do practice as a financial advisor here and there, you might want to consult with your financial advisor if you have any more questions. Licensed professionals are always the best way to go. Talk is cheap. We're on talkradio.nyc. We don't want this to just be talk. The goal here is to use the insight on the small, medium-sized business landscape and your local community to create some impact on Monday morning. That's the idea. That's what we're all about. It's far too often that the businesses I work with, whether they're for-profit or nonprofit, very often they're focused on some type of product that's going to solve all of their problems and make everything go away. The shiny new mousetrap, the magic wand. Another consistent thing I've seen out there, people, products change every single day in every aspect of our lives. Personal, business, doesn't really matter. There's no substitute for surrounding yourself with the right people first and keeping a focus on the process that helps you achieve your goal. That's it. As long as you do this, I believe personally that the right products will be there. They'll present themselves when you need them. Everything begins and ends with the people. So you guys know I like to have some fun people on my show with me here. And you just look at this guy. It's like, how do you not smile and have fun as soon as you look at him, right? This is my buddy Kyle Dunleavy. He is a Visionary of the Year with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. He's in their Hall of Fame for throwing events, volunteering, really supporting the cause. When you look at Kyle's resume, he did grow up in the town next to me. He's a couple of years younger than me, but so happy that we became friends over the last couple of years because we have a blast together. If you look at his resume, he went to college, went to Lehigh University School of Business and majored in accounting. but a lot of his professional experience and the things that he's doing out in the field revolve around recruitment. He recently started a position with Cure Auto Insurance as their senior recruiter. He's the only recruiter in the office. And when I look at him, it's like this is always somebody who has a crowd of people around him at the games, no matter if he's playing, if he's observing. He's just got that kind of magnetism. He's got good gravity around him. So to see that he's been a recruiter for many, many years, really not a shock. And to the point of the show today, talking about LLS and creating some awareness around some of the upcoming events, including Sunday Awareness Day for AML, he's real great at getting people behind the cause, right? There's an astronomical amount of pictures online on his social media and everything where he's just got people around him at all of these events. Some people might have never thought of going to an LLS event and fundraising and volunteering, and he rallies the whole community around it. So Kyle's a force to be reckoned with. I know he's the right person to talk to about signing up to save lives because this is what he's doing on a daily basis these days. In addition to his 9 to 5 job, we appreciate that you're a senior recruiter at Cure Auto Insurance, but this is the person who you want to talk to about really starting an initiative and starting fundraising and getting some fun activities out there to rally the community behind it. He's absolutely the best person to speak with about this topic. We are going to talk about my favorite questions around movies, TV, and music. Have no fear. Joining us this morning before he dives into a full weekend of softball and celebration, Kyle, welcome to Always Friday, brother. It's awesome to have you here finally.
Thank you for having me.
How was that for an introduction? Pretty good?
Oh yeah, that was a nice little. I didn't know when I was supposed to jump in there, but yeah, very nice. Thank you for laying that all out.
So while I take a breath, you always strike me as one of the most interesting men in the world, kind of like the Dos Equis guy. No matter what travels and adventures you're on, which are numerous if somebody follows you on social media, you're always focused on spending significant time and effort working with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So everyone loves to hear about the hero's journey, and you are one of my heroes these days. So let's get into it. Talk a little bit about how you got where you are today, my friend.
Sure. So I did want to clarify that I am not the visionary of the year, at least not yet. It is actually a 10-week competition. So the competitive aspect kind of is good because you have people with an incentive almost to like, work hard to, there are nights where I stay up late and I'm either sending out texts or messages or making sure we got flyers going on. So I don't know. To give some background, I mean, I've only actually been involved with LLS specifically, more this year, 2024. Years ago, when I lived in San Francisco, I did participate in something called a Light the Night Walk, which is, they do those 5K walks, and it was actually at nighttime. It might have been 8 or 9 p.m., but everybody's kind of holding these lights. And it's kind of to raise money and spread awareness for LLS, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. But throughout my life, I've always tried to at least earmark a certain amount of hours or days per year to volunteer in some capacity and give back, whether that's, I had some good experiences earlier in life with volunteering. And it almost is like a high, right? So it makes you feel good when you're helping either somebody who's going through a tough time or building something or, through volunteering, you can learn new skills, right? Like, in the first part of my career or even to today, I'm kind of more of like a white collar guy, right? I'm in an office, but for example, in the past, I've swung a hammer while volunteering, and that's kind of just a good feeling to learn some new things and kind of use your muscles as opposed to, in your office, you're kind of using your brain more. So, anyway, LLS had actually reached out to me a few months ago, and they said, "Hey, Kyle, you've been nominated, and you have the option to decline if you wanted to." But I sat there and I said to myself, "Okay, you know what, Kyle, you have a little bit of flexibility in your schedule. You're always looking for a good excuse to get involved." With a cause that you're passionate about. Like, to be honest, I'm not that passionate about maybe cats. I'm sorry. I'm just not a cat guy, right? So like ASPCA, I don't know. I'll donate to them, but I'm not like going over there. I'm actually allergic to cats. So, but this one did kind of strike one of my heart chords, if that makes sense, because my father had lymphoma twice. Um, The first time was about 10 years ago, and then the second time was about 5 years ago. And so, to see somebody that's very close to you, my father, I'm very close to him. I physically live 12 minutes away from him, but both my parents, right? My whole life, they, raised me and supported me in every way. So I think I am indebted to them forever. And I did see my father go through some tough stuff. He did a stem cell transplant, which was very difficult to kind of watch him, like lose weight. He was in a hospital. I don't want to go into all the details, but it did get pretty ugly. Tears were definitely shed, and there was a time when we really weren't too sure if he was going to pull through, but he did. And so, we're very grateful for the hospitals and the doctors and the research and organizations like LLS who raise money, and they also do patient advocacy. They do, they put that money towards research. And also, just a little comment that I have is that, if you looked up LLS and their reputation online, there's a website called, I think it's called charitynavigator.com, and that's kind of the standard for if you're researching, a not-for-profit. And so pretty sure their percentile or their rank was like 97 out of 100, which means that, they will steer a lot of the dollars that are raised towards the end user, towards, advocacy and research, as opposed to, let's say, paying a CEO some crazy $15 million, a year salary and having a support staff that's, really expensive. So anyway, I think, I've been impressed with their ideas on how to fundraise and their support that they offer to myself. My job once I accepted this nomination was to, try to clear my calendar, attend certain events, and leverage my network and reach out to people I know and some people I even don't know. Like, obviously, I'm on this podcast today. This is actually the second podcast that I've done this week, and I'm very happy to be getting the word out. Um, and so it's forced me to kind of do some new things. Like, I had been on a podcast before, but it was just a softball podcast.
You
And
never
so,
know.
it's almost like I'm, learning new skill sets. Like, when I was little, Pop Warner football or baseball, did I do a little bit of fundraising? Yeah, sure. I knocked on some doors. I said, hey, you want to buy this chocolate? You want to buy this t-shirt? Punt, pass, kick, that kind of stuff. Sign up for every yard that I, kick the ball, you donate $1, whatever.
Well,
But,
fast
as
forward now you want to save lives, right? You want to save life? You
yeah,
want to save lives?
it's a little bit more serious this time around. So, but yeah, it's been great so far. So, am I answering your question accurately, or you want me to comment on
Absolutely.
anything else? Yeah,
We do have to take a quick break though. We
I
do
thought you might.
have,
Yeah.
have some commercial breaks when I do my show, but great stuff. Kyle, I apologize. You're not Visionary of the Year, but I have noticed you're on the Hall of Fame. I don't know, where this is necessarily publicized, but Kyle Dunleavy, there he is, right there. But he's the visionary you want. If you want to get your ass into gear to raise some money for a very worthwhile cause, sign up to save some lives. We'll be right back with Kyle Dunleavy. Stay with us.
Thanks.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's always Friday. And it's me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with my buddy, Kyle Dunleavy, star softball player. Will be making his debut this weekend, Sunday, in the Marlboro Softball League, but also star fundraiser, advocate, volunteer, whatever you want to call it. He does it all with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I've never heard so much about LLS, Kyle. In the last couple of months, like, you're all over the place with it, and I love it. It's a very worthwhile cause. Cancer is something that hits home with me as well, and to that end, Kyle, I do like to kind of sit out by the fire pit, if you will, and just tell a quick story at the beginning of the second segment, of the method segment that I do here. But this, again, something that hits home. There's definitely a whole bunch of cancer in my family. My wife's father actually had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and later developed pancreatic cancer and passed away a number of years ago. But one of my best friends, 12 years my senior, former colleague of mine, he has a condition that I'd learned about in recent years, and I didn't even put two and two together when we were getting this ready. But it's like a couple of days ago, it came to my attention. His condition is called polycythemia vera, and it is a form of leukemia. It is a blood cancer. It causes kind of a thickening of the blood, where overproduction of red blood cells, and folks who have it, it's very, very rare. That folks who have it, they have swollen appendages. They need to seek out some help from phlebotomists and kind of changing and cleaning the blood. And it's definitely caused some discomfort and a change of lifestyle for my buddy. It's one of those things where I get nervous too. He's a single guy, like, and he's not married and all that, and he. A lot of, if I don't hear from him for a week, I get nervous. I'm like, dude, you okay? Everything fine? And sometimes he'll even be like, yeah, I was in the hospital for a day or two, but I'm all good. But it's something that has kind of crept its way into my life recently. And, I applaud you, Kyle, for not only everything you do, but for at a young age kind of earmarking, as you said, the certain amount of hours and time that you want to spend being a volunteer and being an advocate. By the way, my buddy Tommy D, who I was fortunate enough to see this week out on Long Island, he does the show right before me, Philanthropy in Focus. You should absolutely make an appearance on his show as well and talk a little bit about LLS. But just the fact that you kind of earmarked it as part of your process years ago to donate some time and effort in a philanthropic manner. And nowadays, not only are you doing it, you're doing it with force. You have a couple of events coming up in the next 6 weeks that we're going to talk about. But Kyle, this is the method part of my show. This is where I speak with my guests about the science behind what they do. And it doesn't have to be any sort of complex formulas or quadratic equations or anything like that. It's more about exactly what are you doing, how are you doing it, and how are you going to market for it. And I know that part of that strategy involves hanging out on the softball fields and commiserating with 233 of your favorite people, which, again, I can't wait to do this weekend. But talk to us a little bit about the method behind your madness.
Sure, just had to unmute myself there. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, so basically when they had reached out to me and said, hey, Kyle, we want you to take part in this 10-week kind of challenge or competition to see, how much money you could raise, I almost felt, it's an interesting thing. You have to be a little bit political, right? It's hard to just walk up to somebody and say, hey, Steve, can you give me money? Can you open up your wallet, And you feel a little bit uncomfortable having to ask people that, right? So I was like, well, how could I ask it almost in an indirect way, right? So, I know I'm not inventing the wheel here, right? People do walks and marathons and Ironman, and light the night, and they have, ideas that are already set. And I said, hey, who's in my social circle? What do we do for fun? And how could I make it a fun day? And, there's a funny thing that like in the off season, right? I'll give a little plug to like our Marlboro softball league, right? I play in
Sure.
two leagues, one's ARC and one's modified. And if any listeners want to sign up, hey, reach out to me. We'll get you introed. We're always looking for new guys. But um, I jokingly call that the cheapest country club in Central Jersey, right? Because our guys are made up of a few guys are construction, a few guys are lawyers, a few guys are doctors. I'm a recruiter. Some people might be realtors or mortgage guys or whatever. And we're always, I don't know, there's an electrician, right? There's a picture. Yeah, but there's one of the doctors, Doc. But anyway, we're kind of helping each other out. As a recruiter, I've gotten some guys jobs. And anyway, trying to think of how I was tying this in. Yeah, I basically wanted to do fun events that would be fun for my social circle, right? So here's a few of the events that I have coming up, and we can go into detail and discuss some dates. But at a quick glance, right? I was like, hey, some guys like to play cornhole. Okay, we're going to do a cornhole event. Some guys like to play softball. In the off season, guys are itching. They're on the couch or they're, at the gym getting ready for the season. But once the weather starts to get nice, they're like, oh, how much can I play? One night a week or one day a week might not be, enough for me. So I'm doing a softball tournament, which should be pretty well attended. It should be 8 teams of 13 guys, and it's a funky format. So we're gonna have fun with it. Hopefully the weather is nice.
I'd love to say
Um,
that I was in the gym preparing for the season, Kyle, but it was more of in the bar. So what are you
yeah,
gonna do?
it does. It's funny. It gives you or it gives me a reason. I'm not a Greek god by any means with my guns, but it does give me a reason to just try to stretch out or work on my strength or can I hit more home runs next year, whatever it is. So work in progress on that front. But anyway, so far we said cornhole, we said softball. I'm going to do a golf outing. I had never done that before. Although I do play golf at a kind of casual basis. Yeah, there you go. Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, everybody. Anyway, so what are the other events that I'm kind of forgetting? We're working on doing a like a party with a DJ. So that should be announced to come. This 10-week competition or challenge does end with a gala. So it's like a black tie affair at a very nice venue in Freehold. That'll be on June 13th, which is a Thursday night. And that should be very well attended. That should be about 300 people. And that not only would be like myself and the other folks participating, as well as some employees from LLS, but it'll be their team. And I haven't really mentioned my team yet, but I should probably mention them at some point. So obviously, give a huge shout out to everybody on my team. I mean, this has been really cool, even like getting to know you a little bit better, Steve, and then like other people like let's say you have these friends and you've hung out with them a handful of times, but you don't know them that well. And then once there's, I don't know, a serious topic like cancer or fundraising, and you get to know a little bit about somebody's family. Um, so anyway, my team, I hosted two kind of kickoff parties. Actually, my parents were very helpful. They let me use their house because they have a little bit more space to entertain. But I also thought it was a nice opportunity to like invite some people over to the house and they've never been there. Maybe they haven't seen I don't know, picture of me in high school or whatever. So it's just fun. And my mother, she's very hospitable and accommodating. So she whipped up some of her food and some of her favorite famous cakes. She does a pistachio bunk cake, which is well
Oh
known.
man.
Well, which is well known at the softball fields because if you've ever been on my team before or played against me, usually she cranks out a cake every game or every other. I mean, that kind of became her tradition. So it's been nice to just get to know some guys that way. But
That's a good part of the strategy, brother, is to get the pistachio cake ready before you start asking people for money. I think that's a good move.
yeah, it was funny. Like when I invited people over for those two kickoff meetings, um, I said, like, let's say I was reaching out to you, Steve. So I was like, hey, what are you doing on Wednesday at 8 o'clock? Hey, are you free to swing by? And then some people were like, oh, what is this? And I was like, well, it has to do with like charity or a charitable, thing. And then they were like, "Oh, do I have to like bring my wallet? Or are you going to be asking me for money?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually not asking you for any money now or even in the future. It's more like, hey, this is something I'm going to do. If you want to participate, if you're available, if you have some capacity, great." And some guys or girls are you know, busy with work, and that's fine, but doing a simple thing like reposting, either whether it's my link or you could get actually your own link so you could kind of track the dollars that you directly raise. And then the interesting thing with the gala is that they don't really sell tickets, so you can't just walk up and go, "Hi, I'd like to attend that." The real way to get there is to like do some fundraising yourself, right? So for my team, I think the threshold is $2,000. So if you were to raise $2,000, then you get an invite to the gala. And one caveat there is that even if you only raised, let's say 1,500, I might, based on the total number of dollars we're able to raise, you might get allocated a few, so you might still be able to invite certain friends who did, try hard or put in a good effort or whatever. So
I saw something on your social media saying you donate $250. I'll match it and shave my beard. I don't know what the exact verbiage was, but I'm into the egging you on to shave your beard.
yeah, coincidentally, I might have sandbagged that one a little bit because it was getting warmer, and I was like, sometimes I'll just impulsively shave my beard. So, but I don't think anybody really stepped up to the plate. So it's interesting to see what people will respond to. I think I did tell my team at those kickoff meetings initially, if we raise over a certain amount, which I think it was like 50 grand for the whole 10-week campaign, which we are on a good trajectory here. We're doing good. We're kicking butt so far. So anyway, I said that whoever raised the most on my team, they could shave my head in the fashion of a like a kind of like a mohawk, but what was that guy's name from Hook? Rufio?
Oh yeah, nice.
So like his hair was kind of red, which would go
Yeah,
well
red
for blood cancer. I've been wearing I'm not wearing it today, but I bought a few new red shirts, and I've been trying to wear red a lot to the events that we have, just to kind of make it memorable or get the word out there. But yeah, let's see. It's going to be funny to see me in a tux with a bow tie, black and white, and then I'm going to have this red mohawk type hair, like black there and red. It's going to look crazy, but
I definitely look forward to seeing that. Well, red's my favorite color, and I'm a University of Maryland guy, so red definitely plays a nice role with me. And with respect to the raising money, whether you're working for a for-profit business or a not-for-profit business, raising money can be an uncomfortable conversation. But hey, I mean that's when the magic happens, when money exchanges hands, whether it's for-profit or non-profit. And as I've discussed with you, after finishing some of the work in my house, which is still not completely done, but it's almost there at this point, I may not have a ton left to throw around, but when you see somebody like you having fun everywhere they go and life's adventures, like jet setting around the world and hanging out with people for the LLS cause, I'm going to pony up something, and it's not just going to be on the green screen behind me. I will actually give you some money, but we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Kyle Dunleavy. He and Pat's Cancer Warriors. That's the team, right?
that is our team name. I forget who exactly came up with that logo there. So apologies if they're listening, but it might have been Ralph D'Amato. But yeah, that seems like a team name that communicates the cause. And so yeah.
Awesome. Pat's Cancer Warriors is his team name. He's raising money. He's going for Visionary of the Year. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Kyle Dunleavy.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Kyle Dunleavy, a visionary, without a doubt, working with the organization Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. His team is Pat's Cancer Warriors. He's fundraising, he's advocating, he's volunteering, he's all over the place. Kyle, we were starting to get to some of the madness at the end of the last segment. As soon as you started talking about people fundraising and potentially shaving your head into a Rufio-style mohawk from Hook, that's as close to madness as I could get. So the madness part of my show here is where we talk about the artistic observational part of what you do, the stories that you have from the field, no subject too taboo, anything goes. And I know you have a lot of stories, you have a lot of adventures that I love hearing about. But kind of as a follow-up to what we were discussing last segment, I saw this on the LLS website, the idea of create your own fundraiser. Yes, you've created your own team, you've created a bunch of events, you've created your own initiatives, but I was sitting there asking you about, donate a certain amount of money, you shave your beard. Donate a certain amount of money, you're going to shave a mohawk into your head and dye it red. So create your own fundraiser. There's a couple of unique ideas. Let's kick it off here. Talk to us a little bit about some of the other stuff that you've observed, some creative ways to get some money.
Yeah, so what has been interesting is it's a learning process, man. And so you might think, okay, this is how I'm going to make the most money, or you might think like this person might donate the most or whatever. And you might be surprised. Some people that you didn't think would help as much really step up to the plate. And then some people that you thought were, I don't know, real charitable or whatever, maybe they're busy or they've allocated their funds or time and effort for different things this year or this month or whatever. So anyway, one thing that was great was my parents, they live in a 55 plus community. And so we were able to kind of talk to the people at the front desk. And at first my idea was, hey, could we do a little walk around the campus, whether it's a 2K or a 5K? The point is just to meet people in a parking lot and serve some, bagels and juice and coffee and get the word out and maybe have some t-shirts or whatever, take some nice pictures. Anyway, what I've learned is that insurance is a big deal. So like basically you might have some participant who rolls their ankle and they're going to sue your cause. So basically we diverted the plan, and rather than doing a walk, the people at the folks at LLS that are kind of mentoring me a bit, they said, hey, just send in a simple email. You might be surprised at how well it works. Anyway, we got a hold of the email list. We emailed every resident in that community. There might be, I don't know, 400 houses, something like that. Right. Anyway, the response was amazing. And for that, whatever you want to call it, maybe an hour or two worth of time, basically, coming up with what's a proper email. We sent some pictures, it's been amazing. Like, yeah, we expected maybe a few people on their block to donate, but we didn't know that we'd have people walking over from the other side of the development and dropping off, checks and donating on the link and offering, hey, if you need help setting up or breaking down or something, just let me know. So it's kind of really been like a social thing to meet new friends and have new conversations. And that part of it I definitely enjoy because arguably there's certain people who like I said, stepped up to the plate really big that I'm like, wow, Steve or Taco Espartaco, one of our guys, or different guys, Paul Steinberg, right? We're becoming closer friends because I can tell, wow, this person, they want to be around me or they want to help my cause or whatever it is. Um, so yeah, it's been great, the social aspect of it.
You definitely have that gravity. There's no doubt about it. And look, in order to do business with anybody, I was just having this conversation with a bunch of folks yesterday. People have to like you, they have to trust you, and they have to think you know what you're talking about. You speak very confidently. Again, you have that kind of gravity and attraction to it anyway. Like, so you always have a crowd of people around you. But trust is kind of like you said. It's showing up, right? It's doing what you say you're going to do over and over again. And again, you can never judge a book by its cover. Like, I've learned that time and time again, where you might look at somebody and be like, yeah, they're not going to be that involved. They're not going to throw down much money, and you'll be surprised. You can never judge a book by its cover.
That's right. I did want to mention one thing, which was kind of just a cool idea. You can kind of get to know the organization of LLS and how they run this campaign, because it's not like they came up with this campaign this year. They've been running it for, I don't know if the actual answer is 15 or 30 years, but they've been running it for several years, right? So it's also a national thing. They do a separate contest kind of with just high school students. I'm obviously participating in the adult version, but and what happens is, like if you win your state, you're kind of competing on a national level. But anyway, they kind of have it down to a science where they have support staff who can kind of help you navigate those difficult questions like, hey, can this be a write-off? Can these hours be written off? How can we get this corporate match? So there's some, tax issues involved and all that. What's legal, what's not, Anyway, one of their first incentives, because we're like on week 2 of 10-week campaign right now, I thought it was kind of cool. They emailed us on a Monday and they said, hey guys, this week, what we're going to do is we're going to compete and see which candidate can get a donation from the most unique states. So like, obviously, 90% of the donations might come in from New Jersey or New York or Pennsylvania, right? But me, that was kind of a unique one that was a little bit sandbagged towards me, because I've lived in some different states and I have friends from all over, maybe some of them from past volunteering opportunities or whatever. So like I said, I stayed up late a few nights. I sat in my bed and I texted everybody I know, and sorry if you were one of them and you got a late text at 10 or 11 and you were sleeping, but I kind of got the word out that hey, this family that I knew from North Dakota, and I did a volunteer event out there years ago, and I had hung out with them when they came to visit New York and all that. But anyway, I said, hey, what a good excuse to reach out to somebody. Hey, how have you been? Hey, by the way, I'm doing this big, fundraiser. I don't have somebody from North Dakota yet. Would you mind, or would you like to be my first donation from North Dakota? And I have family down in New Mexico and they donated. And I have some family down in Texas and out in California. And so it's just kind of a cool excuse. I got a donation from my brother-in-law in South Carolina. And so, slowly I made a list of states and I was like, who do I know in Georgia? Oh, this girl I used to go to college with. Okay, she lives in Georgia. Okay, boom. And so I did wind up winning that little mini incentive for 1 week, and they give you kind of a kicker, you know what I mean? But even the kicker is, depending on how much your folks donated, it could even be like immaterial, but it was just a reason or an easy conversation to have,
I kind of figured with you, you'd be jet setting around the country because it looks like you do a fair amount of that anyway. It'd be like knocking on their door in person.
Yeah, another interesting thing is I've had like 2 people volunteer for me to fly in for some of these events. And like my knee-jerk reaction was like, whoa, I don't know if I want to ask you to like step away from your routine or your family just to like play my little softball tournament or my cornhole or my, golf or whatever. It's not going to be at the fanciest course in the world. We're not playing like ball to straw or anything like that, So I kind of wanted to keep it Because some charity events you go to, maybe they're charging, $500 to attend a gala. I've attended galas like that before, or they want $500 to play golf, right? So with me, I was kind of like, listen, let's come up with some price points that are more stomachable, if that's a word, or more palatable, easier to
Palatable.
swallow. Yeah,
Yeah,
than
easier to swallow. Let's go with that.
so because not every one of my friends, some of my friends are CEOs and CFOs and they're, kicking butt. But, some of my friends, maybe they don't have the means to pay for $500 for a round of golf. So listen, if you have 500 and you want to donate, by all means, I'm here for you. But also if you want to attend my, event and you're not swimming in dollars, that's fine too. We want you there. We're welcome. So.
I gotta throw something in here, right? So for talkradio.nyc, if you hear like during some of the commercials and everything, one of the taglines is professional serving community, and there's a whole lot of community support that's behind the LLS side of things. But the first thing that drew my eye was podcasts. And going through, and I know it's your second podcast of the week. You did the CG Tax Audit and Advisory one. Shout out to our buddy Anthony Turano and Scott Seidenberg as well from the Marlboro Softball League. But doing podcasts in general, great way to really get the word out as we're trying to do now. But the LLS, they also have their own podcast. It's called The Bloodline. I know there's podcasts for everything nowadays, but I'm like, Smartline, Nightline, Dateline, Bloodline. Sounded pretty cool, actually. Have you listened to it yet?
I have not, and I guess shame on me, but you're right. There is a podcast for literally every subject these days. I typed in the word recruiter or recruiting or recruitment, and there's no joke, I don't know, between 30 and 50 podcasts about this subject, HR professionals, talent acquisition, whatever. So yeah, I have not yet listened to that, but I'd give it a listen, and they could have some good ideas or, whatever information, I'm sure.
Absolutely. One of the best ways to network and throw some ideas out there. There might be a whole bunch of recruiting and HR focused ones. There's only one Always Friday with the SMB guy. That's just how it is. But we got to take this break, Kyle. We'll be right back with Kyle Dunleavy. He is the man, the myth, the legend behind Pat's Cancer Warriors, working on behalf of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We're talking philanthropy a little bit today. It's not philanthropy in focus. It's Always Friday. We'll be right back with Kyle Dunleavy. Stay with us.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday. It's me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Kyle Dunleavy, not only a highly seeded round draft pick in my softball league, but he is the power behind Pat's Cancer Warriors, a team that's raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. He's going for a 10-week challenge to be Visionary of the Year. So the whole idea of signing up to save lives is big for him right now. So I hope you guys have been hearing what he's saying. We got some events coming up in the next couple weeks that Kyle's going to talk a little bit about once again. I know there's golf tournament. There's bowling that's happening too. That's happening in Howell Lanes?
Yep, exactly. So we should probably review some dates for the people out there. The
Let's go.
bowling event is going to be 7 to 10 p.m. on Friday, May 31st. The cornhole event is going to be in Marlboro on Saturday, June 1st. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The golf is going to be held in Freehold on Saturday, May 11th. That should be a 9 a.m. shotgun start. Course can probably fit about 40 folks, which is, 10 foursomes, I guess. And let's see here. The softball event is going to be Saturday, May 18th. That one's going to start, I think, 9 in the morning. We were kicking around the idea of doing a home run derby, but I don't know if guys really want to wake up that early to do it, or would it be well attended or not. And then I did mention, the date of the gala, and, be on the lookout if we do announce a different kind of happy hour with a DJ kind of thing, a party. We're kind of working on that in the background, but it's been interesting to build these flyers out and actually utilize my either my team members or the LLS support staff. And thank you guys for helping out on that kind of stuff.
And by the way, don't apologize for texting people at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I text a bunch of my buddies at like 2, 3 in the morning when I can't sleep. So I'm the one that should definitely be apologizing for that. But usually it's something funny that makes them wake up and start cracking up. So
Yeah. I do have a few friends that are probably gym rats that go to bed at 9 or 10 p.m. to wake up at 4 or 5 or whatever. But speaking of gym rats, I should probably give a little shout out to my buddy that's down in Australia, because I was reaching out to people saying, hey, who wants to get involved? And my buddy Adam Quay, who I used to work with, he said, yeah, I'll repost your link. And then, he posted it. He actually posted a few pictures when he met my parents. He visited. I flew back for his wedding to Australia. But yeah, it was a heartfelt post. And then I was checking my emails and it's like, boom, boom, boom. You're getting, now donations from strangers in Australia. And I'm like, how cool is that? That the thing has gone kind of global. I haven't, maybe that's another incentive I should do. I should try to get a donation from each continent, or actually each inhabitable continent. Cause I don't know if anybody down in Antarctica is gonna donate, but it could be another kind of list for me to kind of just check my way through. So
probably us donating a heater to them or something like that. But when you started saying gym rat, I thought you were going to be talking about Taco again. That's right.
Yeah.
We have a gentleman in our softball league whose name is Esper Taco Gonzalez, and we call him Taco. Who doesn't love a guy named Taco? How could you possibly go wrong?
Yeah. And he's a very, I don't know, he's a passionate guy. He's he plays in both leagues. He's known for showing up to things like home run derbies, and he actually will provide, like, he donated a few bottles of, like, high-end whiskey or bourbon for the winners, and so that's so nice because he's like so new to the league, but he's just showing up and he's changing the game in some ways, and he's always kind of there to volunteer to, I don't know, either rake the fields or come up with suggestions, or he's very involved. So he invited me to like one of his events in his life. His wife runs like a modeling agency in New York. So it's a nice big event, and I went and it was a ton of fun. And, it's that car ride up to New York City where we like bond, right? And we have these chats. So our league is so social. That's what I love about it. We do backyard barbecues with each other. I've been on vacations with guys in Punta Cana that I just met through the softball league. We, like I said before, kind of help each other out. I've had guys who've either given me some furniture or even helped me out move furniture, and so like that's kind of our league. And if I owe some people some favors, hey, hit me up. I'm usually willing to, I don't know, drive you to the airport or help you lift some heavy furniture or whatever the heck you need. I like that kind of stuff.
I do as well. It's definitely moving back to the suburbs, and it's, the town that I grew up in. Like you're close by. You grew up around here as well. It's I can't tell you what it's meant to not only have the outlet to get the hell out of the house on Sunday, get some fresh air and play some ball, but just the whole crew of people. And it's kind of a good way to start wrapping things up here, Kyle. Like the last segment of my show is the message segment. The whole idea when I started this show was from weekend insight to Monday impact, right? We're going to cut loose this weekend. Friday is martini night in my house. We have some friends coming over to enjoy martinis with us this evening. My daughter's got a softball game tomorrow. We have our debut on Sunday. The weekend's going to fly by before you know it, right? And you've said a lot of great things here so far that really should make people think and get people motivated. But if you wanted to drop some sound bites on the folks listening out there, aside from get involved, allocate some time to do some philanthropy, get some money into the causes that really move you. What are some little sound bites that you want to drop on everyone to get them motivated Monday when they come back from being hungover?
Bites that I want to motivate people for Monday. I mean, first of all, my friends and my maybe former colleagues probably know this. I am a guy who does enjoy that kind of work-life balance, right? So while you're at your desk, maybe Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 or whatever hours you work, I think it's good to get that time away to recharge too. So I would just encourage everybody to, I think the weather should be pretty decent this weekend. So get out there, whether it's you want to take a walk in a park or you want to spend some time with your family on your deck or get a little sun or, do something active, even if it's just, I don't know, playing golf or riding your bike or whatever. Um, yeah, you need that balance, even on a daily basis. Like, I'm a big fan of like, getting out of the office, getting away from your desk for a little bit and go grab some lunch or, take a brisk walk. Or we have a gym on campus here and I'll even do like like a micro workout. So if I only have 15 minutes while my sandwich is being made at the shop, then I'll just like crank out a few sets of, triceps or, biceps or whatever, so yeah, integrate some balance into your life. That's what I'd give everybody some advice.
It's definitely a good thought. The work-life balance discussion gets passed around very loosely the last, let's call it even 20 years. And some places that really claim to have it don't necessarily have it. It is extremely important, especially the more vintage we all get and the more the kids start to grow up and everything, the work-life balance piece is important. If you guys check out the LLS.org website, there is a number on there that says donate. You can always donate to the cause, 888-557-7177. But you don't need to worry about that phone number because in the show notes, we're going to have Kyle Dunleavy's direct link. So if you're listening to this and you want to throw down and you don't have time to go to the events that are coming up, I can't imagine that you can't make it to one of them. There's so many events that Kyle's behind in the next handful of weeks and months. But yeah, click on the link that's in the show notes and donate what you can. Get it going. Kyle, we got to wrap up here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to share with everybody the answers that you gave me to my favorite questions. Who's your favorite movie or TV show character? What's your favorite movie or TV show? And what's your favorite musical instrument? And who's the artist you'd like to hear play it? So without further ado, you said your favorite movie character is Andy from The 40-Year-Old Virgin. And then you proceeded to say it's because, you're a 38-year-old virgin, which was definitely funny. Especially after you went to Taco's wife's model gala. I know why you went there, man. I saw those pictures. There was all kinds of beautiful women walking around there. It was great for you.
I like how you integrated my face onto that. That's great.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. This is actually a really good look for you.
This is not a good look for me.
Exactly.
This was the go-to movie in college when we were enjoying our weekends. We would just throw this on to kind of fall asleep too. So I've seen it a million times and I probably know every line. So
yep, you're in good company there. You said your favorite TV show, this might actually be a first for me, was Jeopardy. And I love game shows. I've always had this secret desire to be a game show host, right? And you said, this is going to make me sound like a total nerd. First of all, you're not going to sound nerdier than me for the most part, but I love to test people's wits. And, education being a big thing, again, talkradio.nyc, uplift, educate, and empower. That's what we're all about. Logan, the engineer, says, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Yep. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that. But yeah, this is, great game. It hit home with me because when we were growing up, we had, small TV in the kitchen, small house, and Jeopardy was on almost every day. And my dad likes to pride himself on knowing a whole lot of useless knowledge, but hey, that's where it came in handy.
Yep,
And
it is. It's fun. It's a fun family event. I actually started taking it more seriously when my dad was in treatment. It kind of gave us a routine or a fun thing to do, from the couch. So even if he was tired, we'd eat a meal together, we'd play, and it's just fun. Uh,
you said your favorite musical instrument is the guitar and played by none other than Jimi Hendrix. That's actually a very popular answer that I've gotten over the last 3.5 years, but he's a legend. You really can't mess with it. Playing guitar strung upside down for lefties and whatnot. He's phenomenal. But Kyle, I've been talking to you a while about being on the show. I am very often, as you know, focused on small, medium-sized businesses, and I've worked with plenty of nonprofits out there. I really wanted to highlight you and talk a little bit about what you're doing with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, with Pat's Cancer Warriors. You're a force to be reckoned with, and I thank you. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been great. And what time am I coming over for martinis tonight?
5 o'clock on the nose, but I am going back to Bear and Birch Banya this afternoon. I have a standing group of knuckleheads that I meet there on Friday. But yeah, come over around 5 o'clock. We'll be pouring them heavy.
Sounds good.
Coming up next week on Always Friday, we're going to talk to my buddy John Moses. He was on the show last year, I believe. He's a home inspector, but he's also a stand-up comedian. He's doing a show in Red Bank, New Jersey next week. Tune in 11 a.m. Eastern time on Friday next week to hear all about it. We hope you got some weekend insight to make some Monday impact here on Always Friday. That's it until next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye now.